So there's a couple things that you need to know here for Learning Target 7.1. And the first one is a definition of a polynomial. And a polynomial, there's just two things. It's a function, but you can't have a negative number or a variable in the exponent. So we'll say no negative number and no variable in the exponent. So for example, this would be a polynomial. And in fact, that is a trinomial because there are three terms. This would not be a polynomial, 8x to the negative 4, because it has a negative in the exponent. And you can't have a negative in the exponent, and you also can't have a variable up here. So here is another one that would not be a polynomial, 5x to the y. That would not be a polynomial also because of that. So these two right here, this one and this one, would not be polynomials. Okay? So that's our first definition of a polynomial. Now if you didn't write that down, you're going to want to write that down because you are going to have to turn this in along with your two activities also to qualify for the quiz that's going to be coming up. Okay, let's go to our next thing, terms. You need to know what the term terms means. And terms in a function are separated by a plus or a minus. So for example, this function, 2x squared plus 5x plus 6, has three terms. There's one, and there's one. And in fact, that'd be a trinomial. This has negative 6x plus 5. That's a term, that's a term, that's a binomial. That has two terms. So terms are separated by a plus or minus. Now there's three things that you should have gotten from the activity that we did. The three are, you should now know what a monomial is, you should know what a binomial is, and you should know what a trinomial is. That all has to do with the terms. A monomial has one term. A binomial has two terms. A trinomial has three terms. And that's as far as we'll go with the terms. Okay? Okay. If at any time as we're doing these, like if you didn't like that I just went to that new page, of course you can pause this at any time and go at your own pace here. Okay, degree. Degree is another term that we need to know. And it's the degree is the largest sum of exponents in a term. Let me show you an example of that. For example, this 3x to the third y to the second plus 4x to the second plus 8. This term right here has a degree of 5 because you add the exponents. So that has a degree of 5. This one, this term, has a degree of 2. This one, because there is no exponent, has a degree of 0. So the degree of this function, you look at the biggest one here, the degree of this function is 5. This is a fifth degree, and it's a trinomial because there are three parts to it. Okay? I'll give you another example here. Let's say 4x to the 8th y to the 3rd plus 3x to the 7th plus 2x to the 2nd y. Let's go through the same thing. This term has a degree of 11. This term has a degree of 7. This one, now you don't see anything here, but there's really a little 1 there. So this term has a degree of 3. You look at the biggest one, this has a degree of 11. Okay, so degree is the biggest sum of exponents of any term. Okay? Okay. Next, we're the second one here, is descending. Whoop, let me do that again here. Descending exponential order. It's just the way that you're supposed to write functions. So if you see a function like this, it says 5x squared plus 2x to the 3rd plus 4x. It really shouldn't be in this order. You're supposed to put the one with the biggest exponent first. So we should write this 2x to the 3rd. The next biggest next. 5x squared plus 4x. You just put them from biggest exponent to smallest when you write these out. Okay? That's descending exponential order. And finally, the last thing, leading coefficient. The leading coefficient is the coefficient in front of the first term. So for example, this problem, 8x squared plus 4x to the 3rd plus 7. The first thing, you have to put these in the right order. So it should say 4x to the 3rd plus 8x squared plus 7. Now the leading coefficient then is the number, the coefficient in front of the first term. So in this case, the leading coefficient is 4. But you first have to put them in the right order, and then you'll be able to see the leading coefficient. Okay, but you first have to put them in the right order. Okay, once you have written down those examples, then on your piece of paper, I want you to do these 6 problems right here. Once you've got those 6 done, then you can move on to the Act 2 activity for Unit 7.1.